How you guys doing? Welcome back to the House of Business Podcast 2.0. This is your host, Caleb Thompson. Man, we're coming live from New York City. And this is the place where we give you the knowledge and the tools to execute your dreams and your visions. And we hope everyone's having a great morning out there today. Man, I had to record this today. Yesterday I recorded it, but somehow the file erased. So we have to do it again today and make sure that we get all of the correct information into this podcast that we can help you guys to move forward in your journeys and give you the tools to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish. So now we are in the next phase. So this is after you coming up with the idea. No, every I want you to understand something. Everything that your eyes see was an idea. You look at a stove, guess what? Someone had an idea to make that stove. It was just an idea. You have a fridge, someone came up with the idea to make a smart fridge. Someone came up with the idea to make a mop. Someone came up with the idea to build cabinets, to have cabinets where they have extra storage space. Someone came up with the idea to make world globes and maps and napkins and spoons and forks. Everything that you look at, everything that you lay your eyes on was an idea, and people just put the work in to make sure that it manifests here on this earth, where it became not only an idea but where you can physically touch it. That is the same thing. So now we are past the point of having an idea, putting that idea on paper, that's bringing it out of the unseen realm, out of the ethers, and now you are bringing it to fruition, starting a business plan, really starting to write down what kind of store you want to own, writing down what you're trying to accomplish. That is the same thing. So everything that you see around you, from the tub, everything, it was an idea. Some random person said, you know what, man, I got some random person said, man, you know what, I got this idea and I want to make sure that I can share it with the world, and that's how it started. And yeah, probably someone probably told them, man, oh, you want to build a bathtub, man, that sounds stupid. You know what I mean? We have plenty of, you know, hog wash bins or whatever they got, whatever they had back then. But someone tried to limit this guy who wanted to build a tub. Someone wanted to limit this guy and tell him, man, this is cool, this is enough. Someone wanted to stop that man from sharing his gifts with the world, his inspiration and his vision with the world. And now there's a tub in probably every household that you could probably ever think of. But if he let someone stop him, all the thing this is, and I want you to understand something. If you do not act on the ideas that you have, God will give those ideas to someone else for them to bring them into fruition. If you have an idea and you are sitting on that idea, but you're mad at someone else, it's because you are not doing what God told you to do. I don't care how much of a bad person you are, God can still use you to accomplish what He put you on this earth to do. If you feel like you want to start a vending machine selling cosmetic products and you want to put the vending machine inside the JFK airport, you can do that. Who's going to stop you? First thing you have to do is you have to take the steps to figure out exactly, where do I get this cosmetic vending machine? Where can I find a wholesaler where I can buy in bulk, probably in China, where I can get the products? And then, and just how do I write a proposal to JFK? How do I write a proposal to certain areas to make sure that I can get this vending machine in there and stuff? You have to do the research. God is only going to take you so far. Magic is only going to take you so far. Your beauty is only going to take you so far. The clothing, none of that makes you who you are as a person. There's no way of getting around doing the work. The only way to get around doing the work, if you inherited a lot of money and you can pay someone else to do the work for you, okay, that's fine. But you're still going to fall into some type of situation where you're not going to be able to emotionally have the emotional intelligence to learn how you cannot pay for everything. Just think about, man, if you have a hardship or your spouse get cancer or something like that, if you don't have the emotional intelligence to be strong enough for your family to help move them through that as a business owner, you can't just pay certain things away. So, it's good for a little bit of struggle, but you go from having an idea, and once you have that idea, you put it on paper. That is called manifestation. And you cannot manifest anything without putting the work in. You can sit here all day and you can steal energy. You could talk crap. You can do this, but if you do not take the time to put the work into us what you want to do, it's just not going to work, man. It's just not going to work, man. That's why, it's easier. It's harder to put the work in, but the results are a lot better. You know what I mean? And it helps. So, and today we're going to be talking about hiring. So we're past the process of coming up with the idea of what you want to do as an entrepreneur, creating that business plan to kind of get you started, and give you a visual or blueprint of what you're trying to accomplish, and then moving to the next step of finances, finding the right financial institution to help fund your project, really understanding your numbers, your financial projections, looking for a building or location, or establishing an online presence, some type of way to get your brand awareness out there. Maybe starting with friends and family. A lot of times I tell people, man, when you want to start a business, when you want to start a company, clothing brand, I wouldn't even tell the people that's closest to me. What I would do is I would work on it in silence, and build so much traction behind the scenes. It got to a point that some people know it's you, they don't want you to get ahead of them. They'll secretly sabotage you. They'll sit there, they'll eat pizza with you, watch a movie with you, go out for drinks, and then they'll still silently sabotage you. Don't you know that sabotage doesn't mean always just doing something intentionally? A person's energy, if you're not strong enough, can sabotage you. When someone is just sitting there fuming, with directing jealousy, directing envy, directing frustration at you for no reason, but for the simple fact that you're doing something. If you are not strong enough, if your spirit is not strong enough to continue to push past that, that energy alone can sabotage you, can manipulate you without that person having to say anything, without those outside forces can't penetrate if you're not strong enough. So you need to focus on your mission and what you have to do. So now we're at phase three. Phase four. Now we are past the point of finding the right financial institution to help fund our business. But like I said, man, if you want to start a company, I tell people this all the time: don't tell your family. Work on everything in silence behind the scenes. And some people say, man, I can't even really get away from, my spouse, or get away from certain people in my family to be able to work on what I want to work on to keep it silent. Okay, that's completely fine. You need to find a coffee shop to go to. You need to tell them that you're going on your daily run. You need to pick up a new habit of going to the coffee shop and saying you're going to read a book. You need to work on your dream. You need to go somewhere where it's going to be visible once you're working on anything. When your energy changes, your energy signature changes, and it modifies itself to become in alignment with what you're trying to accomplish. So it's just like how people talk about genetic mutation. People talk about genetic mutation. How, well, we don't want to go too deep into that, but people genetically modify a lot of things. Food. Some people talk about cloning and things like that. So the only reason I say this is because of this. The world is made of energy. Once you start taking steps towards trying to accomplish something, you have to be in alignment. So what happens is the energy starts to inject you with that type of energy for your body to get familiar with it. So it's basically like this: have you ever had a cold and then they give you the cold to be able to fight the cold off? So it's the same thing. So once you're working towards something, you need more. As you work towards it, that energy is drawn to you, and it starts to affect you. It starts to make you more of a hustler. It starts to make you more. You are injected by the universe with the passion and the grit to continue to move forward towards that project, especially if it's okayed by a higher source. So that is the same way you are injected. The more that you move forward, you are injected with that energy, and what it does is those injections, energetic injections, what they do is they help your vibration to align with what you're trying to accomplish. So when you're on alignment with it, it can easily flow to you. And that's the same thing. So now we're talking about the hiring process. So let's move forward. I'm going to give you three talk points here, as I usually do, and we're talking about hire for grit and train for skill. So that's what I want you to do, man. I want you to hire for grit and train for skill. Hire for grit and train for skill. And the reason why I say this is because the reason why I say hire for grit, people that's gritty, man, that's a hustler, man, that can go get it, on their own. You know what I mean? Something about someone who grits is that they will find a solution to a problem before they bring the problem to you. To say, man, if I'm the boss of a corporation, I don't want someone to come and tell me, oh, we have this problem, we have that. Do not tell me about the fires if you do not have a solution. If you do not have a fire extinguisher plan in place, say, okay, man, we're down 20%, down 20% in sales. But you know what I mean? Upon research, I noticed that we are the reason why we're down 20% in sales because we have cut the budget for marketing in on social media, and that has really cost us attention of brand awareness, and has cut us out of a lot of places where we got most of our sales. So I suggest that we increase the budget back to its it's a just restore the budget back to its original position, and then cut down somewhere in the company, whether that's cutting down on, fuel costs or fuel or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Cutting down on certain other areas of the company to make sure that we can continue to get those sales, because that is what keeps the business running. So but come with that, but hire people for grit, people who are solution driven. They're solution driven, but they're hustlers. And you can train for skill. I would rather hire someone that's about uh, very passionate about gardening, but really don't know the fundamentals, or not just the fundamentals, but really know the skill behind it or the science behind it. And you can teach them the science behind it because they're passionate about it already. I don't want to hire. That is why a lot of jobs that you go to, they're very oppressive. People feel like, man, I come home, I go to and they really don't want to be there. You know why? Because there are people in position that have the skills, but they don't have the emotional intelligence. They don't really care about people to the point. Yeah, you went to the school and got a degree. You went to school, got a degree. You got a doctor's degree. That's good. You push through. Now I'm not downing anyone with a PhD or anything like that. That's good. That's very good. But what I'm saying, with all that information and that knowledge that you gain, if you do not change something on the inside, if you do not if you do not cultivate some type of emotional intelligence, knowing some type of active listening, some type of, if you do not acquire the unseen skills that goes along with this knowledge, you will become prideful. You cannot, it is a dangerous thing for a person to be very wise but not emotionally intelligent. You know what I mean? Because they will use their power, their knowledge, and their information that they've not. I'm not saying they didn't earn it. They went to school, they paid for it. You didn't. You earned it to some degree. You had to get up. You had to be disciplined to a certain degree. But some people do. Some individuals who have so much knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, they do not use it for the right reasons. They will manipulate and bring hurt and harm to the world more. And that's why you have some of these company cultures. People go to work, the company culture is so oppressive. You have somebody that's a manager that doesn't know what they're doing, but then you have a regular employee, crew member, an entry level employee that knows what they're doing. Even though you're telling me you've been here, I've been here 7 years. So you've been here 7 years and you don't know what you're doing. And I can come, and I'm not saying like that. People have seniority in certain areas, but people can work in a position for 7 years. They cannot grow at all. And why they're in that position? They're in that position because everyone that came in to try to move the business forward, to try to give ideas, give strategies to help this person to be able to grow in that position, they came up with some type of scandal or some type of conspiracy to get that person fired because they're seeing that person as a threat. And as soon as that person is highlighted as a person who is a gatekeeper of the company and is threatened by someone coming in and helping to advance the company, fire them immediately. As soon as you catch any person in your company that's a manager or someone that's in position, even if they work their way to that position and they are easily insecure or threatened by someone coming in and wanting to help out and wanting to build the company, because what that person does is it stops the company from growing. You're telling me I have an employee here who's very talented, just really never had the shot. They don't have to take your position, but I can find somewhere to place them, maybe in another store. We have multiple companies, maybe in another. They don't have to be here. They don't have to be here. But if I catch you trying to snuff out their potential, trying to stop them from helping me to build my vision, you have to understand you're there to build the vision. I hired you to help to build the vision that God gave me. You're not here to, yeah, and I trust you with some discretion, but you're not here to stop talent because you're insecure. If I catch that, I'm going to fire you. I don't care if I have to fire you and pay you $1,000 a week for the next year for us not to go to court and document it. I'm going to fire you instead of me paying you, $75,000 and being unjustly fired and going through all these lawsuits. I'll pay you $1,000 for this a week for the next 6 months, and you can leave. And that'll give you enough time to find you another job, and you can leave. If I catch anyone trying to sabotage or conspire against a good employee or someone that's intellectual that can help move my vision forward, help scale my company, and you're acting like it's your company. You do not have the right to make those type of decisions, even if you are a manager. I do trust you with a little bit of with authority to make the right decisions. But if I catch anyone in my business that's insecure, you know what I mean, they're threatened by easily threatened positions. Man, you have to go. You have to be able to be strong enough to understand that the work that you put in to get you into this position. If you don't want anyone to take your spot, that means that I don't care if you take a week off of work. I will, if you feel threatened, I would rather you come to me instead of sabotaging somebody. I will give you a week off of work and I will send you to a business conference for a week, fully paid by the company for team development, to help you to get the skills together, to help you to get the knowledge you need, to help you to get what you need to make sure that you can still rule and reign and dominate in your current position, or help you to move to a new position. So, instead of you sabotaging individuals in the company, then I will have to fire you. So, there are other options besides being insecure and sabotaging people. But what I've learned is that skills can often be taught, but grit, integrity, and strong work ethic, man, they are harder to develop, man. You know what I mean? So you should really consider that while you're hiring. So let me put it like this: like a candidate, like with resilience and willingness to learn, often outperforms like someone with experience but a poor attitude. Yeah, you have the experience, but you got a poor attitude. When people come to work, okay, yeah, you can build a rocket ship out of paper clips and send it all the way to the moon, but you're a jerk. You know what I mean? I do not want that energy corrupting the company culture and having people, when people leave home and they come to work, they already have things that, now you will have to perform at work, but you don't need to you don't need a bad life at home and a bad life at work. You have to give some people some type of break. At least when you come here, you'll be able to make money and you'll be able to enjoy your job. And then when you go home, if you're not life is not that if your life is not that what it's all cooked up to be, that's between you and your own personal time. You know what I mean? But while you're here, we're gonna make sure you have fun. We'll make sure we make some money. We're gonna make sure, you know what I mean, that the company culture is right. You know what I mean? To the point where you can be creative. You know what I mean? You can reach your fullest potential. And if you do not decide to stay with us after we help you with your skill set development, if you do not decide to stay with us, we at least want to give you enough knowledge, wisdom, and information, and help you to develop your skill set to the point where you can go off and you can make your own business. And we'll also help you to accomplish that as well. I don't believe I have any competitors. Not saying because I'm the best. I'm saying I don't have any competitors because I stay in my own lane. And I believe that what's for me will come to me. The customers that's meant to come to my company, they'll come. You know what I mean? Because we stay authentic. We're not going to change. Not one day we're going to be this way, and the next day we're going to be the other way. Once you come here, you will get the same experience or better. You know what I mean? Every time. So we don't compete. We just stay authentic and continue to stay grounded in the foundation on which these companies were built on, and we believe that that's enough. And people are looking for authenticity, man. The world is getting tired of fake. The world is getting tired of gossiping, hating, things like that. People want to be inside of a community or work for a job where they come to work and they really understand that, man, this is the place where I belong, man. This is a place where it liberates them from the cares of the world, where they can still make money, develop this skill set, and have fun. But it's going to be challenges. It's not just going to be easy. It's not like a adult daycare, but you know what I mean. But it's going to be challenging. You're going to be able to make money, take trips, and really provide for your family. It's going to make life a lot easier. But I look for people who embrace challenges instead of avoiding them. You do not want to hire anyone that avoids accountability and that avoids challenges. Somebody soon avoid. When I say avoid challenges, I mean anything that come. If sometimes I'll do these tests. Or I used to do these tests where I would test people, and I would say, if so this happened and that happened, if this happened and that happened, not saying that you take the fall for anyone, but if this happened, if I put you in a position, let's say COO, and something happens down the chain, and it's affecting our operations. I don't want you as a person that's in that position, a leadership position, to try to avoid the challenge or the accountability that happened. You're saying, well, if Lauren would have never did this or did that, it wouldn't have worked like that. No, if you are the COO, you are the chief of operations, you have to take responsibility. No one, I don't care what Lauren did. I don't care what Tyler did. I don't care what any of these people did. All I care about is why are not the operations moving more efficient? What can we do to fix it? We need to look for a solution. We don't need to play the blame game. If I find you in a place of leadership and you are blaming someone else at a lower entry level of hiring, trying to avoid being held accountable or being that, you will be fired. I got to get you out of there. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, you know what I mean? Anyone that tries to avoid challenges, avoid things, you got to go. Go to, you can do that at Wendy's. You know what I mean? With the skill set you have, you can probably be the general manager at Wendy's of 4 states. But you won't work here. You know what I mean? So you cast all the blame you want to, but I'm not looking for people like that. So man, character, man, really lays the foundation for long term success in any organization. You have to have some type of character. You have to stand on some type of morals. You really have to hold yourself accountable and hold others accountable. You really got to take a lot of hits. I'm really looking for individuals that really stand in these positions that you will have to take some hits, and you will have to maybe take a couple burns and a couple cuts, just for the sake of your team and just for the sake of other individuals, man. It takes me. That's what leaders do. So we're not looking for any we're any softies. But we not. I'm talking about in leadership positions, or we're not looking for anybody who's a tyrant or ruthless tyrant either. So there has to be some type of balance. Talking point number 2: I invest in training because great employees are developed. So I invest in training. That is your greatest asset. Your greatest asset are your employees, and your employees bring in customers, and customers bring in sales, and sales basically help to scale the business. But the number one thing what you need to invest in, your greatest investment that you will ever invest in, is the people that work for you. You can let me put it like this, man. You can be good to your employees. They can work for you. You can be so good to your employees, the people who really build your business, that they'll, and you have a lot of, like I say, man, you have a lot of oppressive people and a lot of tyrants. What they want, they're not looking for loyalty. They're looking like, if you don't want to do what we tell you to do, we'll fire you and we'll hire someone else. Believe me, there's always someone looking for a job, but I'm looking for individuals that will work for me, that would be loyal. You be so good to those employees, not pamper them to the point where they miss deadlines and things like that. But I'm saying that have some type of balance, that once they start to execute on the task, start to scale the company, start to do things that are required, and going beyond those requirements to make sure that things get done, teamwork, discipline, resilience, and make sure the company scales. We would the more Once they understand that, the more that they help the company to grow and to scale, and the more clients we have, that's more perks for them. The more money we make, the more money we can spend on the employees. That's how I look at it. We can go on more trips. We can do some get the group, go to team development conferences. We'll be able to give out holiday gifts, $100 gift cards, $200 gift cards. Hopefully, and get to the point, man. My goal is to hopefully get to the point where we'll be able to give away. Our company grows so big that at least once or twice a year, we'll be able to give away supercars. You know what I mean? So we have someone that's really doing good in the company. We have a conference. You know what I mean? And we may have 2 Lamborghinis. I mean, we may pick 2 people to be able to give those cars away to. That's performing well, and it doesn't always have to be a person in leadership, and just be someone that we just watch silently and say, man, this person is, invite them to the conference, and we will already, man, be able to give away some cars and maybe some homes as well. And maybe they already have a house and they can use that property as an asset to be able to bring in some capital on the side. So I really want to get to the point. once the company starts to grow, we'll be able to give away some supercars, give away some homes, give away some land, things like that, man. Those type of perks, man, to the employees. So, but when I provide the right training and the right coaching and feedback, employees gain the skills they need to excel. So you really get, I'm gonna put it like this: that the Hebrew slave tactic, and that's what a lot of leaders use. They say, man, you know what? We're gonna double because you complained one time. What we're gonna do is we're gonna double your workload, and we're gonna take away the tools that's necessary in order for you to complete the task. That you're hurting your own company. So what your job to do is to give your employees or the individuals who work for you uh, every tool necessary to make sure that they succeed in their position and they can accomplish and execute their responsibilities. You do not withhold information from someone who works for you thinking that this person is going to outdo me. Man, you own the company. I've seen CEOs get insecure about an individual. You're going to have to learn how to lead people that's smarter than you, and you have to ultimately understand that you can have money and still be in the lack mindset when it comes to entrepreneurship. Yeah, money doesn't mean anything. You can be insecure. You can be insecure when it comes to skill set, when it comes to a way a person carries himself. And you cannot be the CEO or run a company if you are easily offended by someone who does a good job or things like that. So you will have to really understand that once you provide all the tools necessary, it helps the company to grow. I'm not going to tell you to uh, go out there and dig a ditch. I'm telling you to go out there and dig a ditch so we can so the rain can flow through the whatever that thing is called, and it won't flood anymore. It won't be flooded with problems. Go out there and dig a ditch so when it rains it can flow downstream. Okay, and I'm telling you to dig a ditch. I'm not giving you the tools necessary. I'm not helping you to understand where exactly to dig the ditch. I'm not telling you how deep, how long it has to be. I'm not giving you all the information that I know that is needed for you to accomplish what you need to accomplish and be successful at it. I'm just telling you to go and do something, and that's why companies fail. And a lot of people do that. And sometimes you have to, don't get me wrong, sometimes you have to do that to see a person is solution driven. You can tell them to do something and see if they can figure it out, just to see if you want to, move them to the next level. Or you can, but your job is to make sure that you give as much information, make sure that you give all the tools necessary. I don't care if you have someone going, if you have a agent going to go and meet a client about a new sales proposition, you need to make sure that that guy has a fuel card. You need to make sure that your lunch is on you. You need to make sure that he has a fuel card to get back and forth comfortably without digging in his own pockets. You need to make sure that those employees are taken care of when they're out there in the field and they're executing things that will bring more capital to the company. So a culture of continuous learning creates a stronger, more adaptable workforce. Instead of searching for the perfect employee, I build great employees through intentional development. And we have another company, which is Tom Square Gardens Restaurant Company. And one thing that we do every week, we try to read a new book. Even though I haven't read all the books, some books that I do post that I do suggest that we read every week are books I've already read. I already read them before, or I'm in the midst of reading them, or even if sometimes if I don't read the books, I will kind of read an article or read an outline exactly about what the book is about, and I will develop a book review based off my information of off the ebook or the audio book or things like that. But I will offer the book. So every week we have a new book, which is our inspirational book of the week. So and why I say that, because instead of just like searching for the perfect employee, you can build great employees through intentionally giving them material, intentionally helping them to understand and develop themselves through what you provide, like those study materials. Okay, and talk point number 3 is I build a team that can grow with the business. So I've learned that businesses don't just need skilled workers; they need people who can grow as the company grows. So I hire individuals who are curious, accountable, and committed to improving. Like I just discussed, technical skills may get someone hired, but perseverance, being adaptable, and having teamwork, it often determines the long-term success. So when I hire for grit, like we just talked about, and train for skill, I build a team that gives me a reason to really understand that they are prepared to solve problems, man, and really embrace change and help the business to scale to its highest potential. Okay, so man, this is the House Business Podcast 2.0. This is your host Caleb Thompson, man. This is a place where we give you the knowledge and the tools to execute your dreams and visions. We'll come live from New York City. We'll see you guys back here next Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace.